Hey folks, it's Global Politics with Jim Martin. I want to jump on real quick and talk about why Zelenskyy may have been a tad bit touchy going into that infamous White House meeting last week. First off, I'll say this, that I have never seen anything like that. I've watched many fireside chat type of events with world leaders. Never seen anything like that. It's probably not surprising that he went into that meeting with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, considering the things that Donald Trump has done and said here in the recent past. So during the campaign, he said that he would end the war on day one. If a European country did not reach the 2% spending limit, that Russia would be free to attack them. Immediately after getting inaugurated, he closed the U.S. intel shops that identify and counter Russian disinformation. After promising otherwise, he froze Ukraine and our European partners out of the negotiations held in Saudi Arabia. As a result of those two-day negotiations, he extended diplomatic recognition and exchanging ambassadors and things of this nature to Russia. He publicly criticized Zelenskyy on X, calling him a dictator, and that he had 4% approval rating and saying that Ukraine started the war. Through J.D. Vance, they lambasted NATO countries for suppressing free speech and compared them to Soviet-era dictatorships. It said that U.S. troops would never support NATO allies if they were attacked by Russia during a peacekeeping mission in Ukraine. He said that U.S. troops would never be a part of any NATO peacekeeping operation. He turned off the permissions for U.S.-guided missiles like ATACMS to be used against Russian forces across the borders. He tried to force Ukraine and Zelenskyy into this minerals deal for rare earth minerals. So he tried to force them to sign this deal, which would give them 50% of the revenues from those minerals, plus U.S. control of ports and ports of entry in Ukraine. We had the White House debacle. Then, immediately in the wake of that, the U.S. has stopped our intel shops from cyber-based intel gathering and cyber attacks on Russia. One final word on this. A lot of you who are criticizing Zelenskyy over this haven't ever discussed anything with an Eastern European guy, and it shows. They're very plain spoken in my experience and fairly intolerant of BS. Also, it doesn't mean necessarily that talks between Zelenskyy, the Ukrainians, and the United States won't continue. However, Zelenskyy's audience is different, and he was aware of that going into this meeting. Kind of had his Love Actually moment. They're telling some truth to the U.S. president. That said, it doesn't mean that something could be worked out. However, Zelenskyy's audience is a different one now. He'll be primarily working towards getting the support he needs from the Europeans, who suddenly have become aware that they really do need to step it up. Hope that's interesting for y'all, and have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.